Hello, fellow quirky people. Stranger Things 4 just showed us why it took so long to be released on Netflix. Apart from the pandemic delays, the creatives really dialed things to 11 this time. Pun intended. The last 3 seasons were great, but this one just had a lot to give us. The episodes were all extremely long, the gore was intensified, the CGI was great, and we just loved the fact that the Mind Flayer took a backseat for a change while a new villain emerged. The Duffer Brothers brought a new villain into the picture, and his identity became the big twist of Season 4 of Volume 1. Spoiler warning for those who haven't seen the new episodes yet. As the video title suggests, I'm going to talk about who Vecna is and how he got his powers. So go watch Season 4 and then come back. Are you still here? Okay, good. So for the first time, Stranger Things brought in a villain who is closest to a human. And just like many other things in the show, his name Vecna was also inspired by a Dungeons & Dragons character. To list his powers down, we clearly saw that he had psychic abilities like Levin and all the other test subjects of Dr. Brenner. Then, he had a connection and mind control over the Mind Flayer's hive mind. He could use the hive mind like a cerebro and find out traumatized people who carry guilt in their lives. Then he could place a curse on the chosen victims and show them visions of their past. He'd possess them, kill them, and add them as his trophies. Their consciousnesses would continue to live in his hive mind as he freed them of their pain. And his most important ability, according to me, is that, as he kills someone while he's in the Upside Down, he creates an energy surge that opens a gateway into the outside world. But people want to know how exactly did he get all of his powers? So I'm gonna go all the way back to where he came from and discuss exactly how he got his abilities. As we know by now, Vecna is none other than Victor Creel's son, Henry. Dr. Martin Brenner got his hands on him, and he went on to become his first subject, number 1. Then in 1979, Elle rejected his offer and used the full brunt of her powers on him. She opened a door through space-time and blasted Henry into the Upside Down. Here he was struck by lightning multiple times, and his body got deformed. Over the 7 years he spent in the Upside Down, his body deformed and evolved at the same time. So he gained even more powers. But before becoming Vecna, he already had the kind of psychic powers that Elle did. His powers were extremely strong since he had them for almost his entire life. Victor Creel revealed that Henry was very sensitive, but little did he know that his kid was actually Force sensitive. But how did he learn the ways of the Force? I mean, the show gave us very little information upon how Henry got his powers after moving to the new house. He found a nest of Black Widow spiders in there. So one could imagine that some experiment with those spiders could have given him his powers. But a bite from a spider would have made him Spider-Man, not Jean Grey. Okay, I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. But yeah, the powers probably did not come from the spiders. Nancy saw him looking at the grandfather clock in the Creel house, and that's when he turned its needles. So it was heavily implied that Henry harnessed something within the grandfather clock, and that's what unlocked his psychic powers. The true significance of this clock will probably be revealed in the second volume of Stranger Things 4. And that's when we'd find out exactly how he got his abilities. He could look into the minds of others and watch their memories. He did that with his parents and found that they were guilty of some heinous crimes. His father was a World War veteran who probably left a baby burning. The show didn't tell us what his mother did besides plotting to send him away. So he tormented his family. And before his mother struck her move, he killed her. Then he also killed his sister. And as he was about to kill his father, he had reached his limits and went into a coma. Then, Dr. Martin took him in, and he became the source of powers for others as well. After being tossed into the Upside Down, it is highly likely that he joined the Mind Flayer's ranks. After all, he formed a kinship with Black Widow spiders. He saw them as gods of the world. So, seeing the form of a Mind Flayer, who also looks like a giant spider, he would have begun to worship the monster as well. And after joining his team, the Mind Flayer would have given him control over the hive mind as well. He is said to be the 5-star general of the Mind Flayer, so naturally, the Mind Flayer would have granted him all of his added powers. Since he was a super-powered human himself, the Mind Flayer would have wanted him on his side too. Volume 1 ended with showing how he was being transformed into Vecna. But we didn't see his complete transformation. We didn't see what he was doing in the Upside Down for almost 7 years. So I suspect that Volume 2 will begin with showing us the complete transformation. It would show us how the Mind Flayer added him into his forces and gave him all his new powers. His own powers combined with the hive mind control of the Mind Flayer is probably what allows him to open gateways. But it will be interesting to know why the Mind Flayer is only using Vecna now. It is easy to answer why Vecna is just targeting kids. One could believe that since teenagers haven't had a lot of time to process their trauma, their minds would be weak and they would be easy to manipulate compared to the adults. But we still need the answers for why the Mind Flayer didn't use Vecna earlier. If he would have done that 3 seasons ago, then perhaps Hawkins and the entire world would have been under his and Vecna's control by now. But that didn't happen. So, Season 4 Volume 2 has a lot to answer from the Mind Flayer and Vecna's backstory. And hopefully, Chapter 8 will provide all the answers we seek. Okay, that's all for now. Are you excited about Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 2? Let us know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to check out some more fun content on our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!